Hello, I'm John Benson, and today I'm going to do a review of the Venture Brothers Season 2. It's a really incredible season. It starts out with Brock burying the, the boys, Hank and Dean, the Venture Brothers, uh, which should clue you in right away. There's going to be plenty of spoilers abound in this, and this is an older show. I don't feel any worries about doing that. But here it is. Here's your warning in case you haven't watched Venture Brothers Season 2. So, I, so I'm going to go ahead now. So the thing is, the Venture Brother, the Venture Brother are clones. Venture Brothers are clones, Hank and Dean, and they have died at the end of season 1. And so this whole first episode is the show messing with the audience because they haven't revealed yet that Hank and Dean are clones, and so you don't know, and you don't know what's going on as far as what's going on with the boys until later in the episode. There's this whole montage at the beginning, and the thing is, it was funny. It was funny the first time I watched it. There's these references to Duran Duran's video and so many other movies and clips, references to things in that montage, and the song, which is just perfect for the show and for the humor of it. And so they go through it, and you go through the season, you obviously realize now that Hank and Dean are clones. Yet when I watch it again, and I've watched it many times, watch it season 2, and particularly that episode, because I love that montage. It's funny every time, well, to me. So it is the humor in it, and doesn't stop, even though it is in a way just trying to pull this out, play this out, and mess with the audience. When you watch it again and you know they're clones even at the beginning, it's still funny because you still are like, well, why is Dr. Venture so broken up then? Why did he leave? Why did he do this? Why, if they've gone through this before? And so it's funny even when you know what's going on. So this is one thing I think that makes this show very special, is that the more I watch it, the more references I pick up on, and the more jokes, the more humor I find in many of these things throughout the show. You know, even in season 1, but in season 2, just as much. There is an obvious absence of women, of female characters. The one, or the biggest female character is Dr. Girlfriend, who's voiced by a man, and Brock constantly through the second season is, well, I shouldn't say constantly, there's a few episodes where he makes jabs at whether Dr. Girlfriend's even a female. This is an issue I've been thinking about a lot. I've been thinking about, do they really mean to have so few female characters? What's going on? These are male writers, and I'm wondering if they feel like, oh, well, our humor is about people, our characters failing. That's the humor. That's comedy, and they don't necessarily want to make female characters who fail, and they're concerned. They don't want to appear sexist or gendered by doing that, yet there's something wrong with not even having female characters to begin with. And they could obviously just get a female writer. That might help a lot if that's what you're concerned about. But there's more going on, I think, than just that. And again, this is just my opinion, because I certainly don't know and haven't talked to the writers as to why this happened. I'm just speculating. And again, this is my opinion. And I also see that Venture Brothers is a spoof of 60s, 70s pop culture cartoons, kids cartoons, Hanna-Barbera to cartoons, Johnny Quest in particular. And Johnny Quest in particular didn't have any female characters, and a lot of pop culture in the 60s and 70s was lacked uh, female characters, and maybe they're trying to point that out in this show by also not having very many female characters. Um, it, I think that's part of it. There, well, at least to me, and there could be other things going on as well, but there's certainly in the whole series, and especially the season two, you see all these references come out. It starts off season one or Venture Brothers as this spoof or play on Johnny Quest, the children's cartoon, as if that were in the real world, as if Johnny Quest was an actual person and the father was an actual race and everybody was. How would that mean? How would that mean for Johnny Quest growing up or as an adult now? And that's kind of the humor that it plays upon. But then it starts bringing in other cartoons and movies and pop culture and even music, like I said, Duran Duran, but other music and pop culture, really from the 60s all the way through the 80s, all of that is coming in. David Bowie comes in a lot. They did that, a big episode of David Bowie references in the first season, Sea of Sargasso, which is amazing about how they use the lyrics in the song. And then in season two, you find out that Bowie, or this, it's not really David Bowie, it's a shapeshifter who likes to have the form of David Bowie, is the sovereign. So they keep on playing through these references, and it's hilarious how they pick up through these references, and even Duran Duran with the Hungry Like the Wolf video with the one female who's like a wolf or a lion, some sort of tiger or whatever, big cat that scratches Dr. Venture. So this is the type of pop culture, music, and everything, cartoons and comic books that all come in to Venture Brothers, and they're playing and riffing on all of those areas of pop culture, and they do it very well. It would have been nice, and it would have been great to see if they could bring in more women into this, more female characters. There is a constant play on who is the mother of Hank and Dean. They don't necessarily say it a whole lot in the show, but I also wonder who's Dr. Venture's mother. You find out later things, but there is a definite problem where are the women in this? And one thing I've even speculated or wondered about is, Hank and Dean, there's they're clones. Presumably there was some sort of biological birth that they are clones from, but there is also references to them being, a hodgepodge of DNA. So who knows? Who knows where they're going with this? And Brock is often cast as the mother. And then there's all sorts of other things that come up in season two. Sergeant Hatred is introduced and introduced in a horrible set of circumstances in a way, where first the Hank and Dean mention that they have been touched incorrectly or molested by him at one point when they were captured at some point, and this isn't in the show. And then later, he's at the wedding of the Monarch and Dr. Girlfriend, and of course he comes in even more in later seasons. So they are constantly batting around these issues of sexuality and really bad or whatever failings of the male characters. Uh, and then there is the marriage between the monarch and Dr. Girlfriend, which is wonderful. And then at the end, Dr. Girlfriend is the cliffhanger at the end of season 2. She turns to the monarch and she calls herself by her name, Sheila, and she says, you know, you can do this, and you can tell the monarch finally a secret that she's been keeping in. So there's constant speculation as to what that secret is. And one thing they've been driving at through the season is that maybe she's not female, actually. But I think that would be too obvious of a thing to be. I've seen speculation, seen or read on different sites where people think, oh, well, that she is a venture. That she could be Dr. Venture's sister or cousin or something. And possibly other things. I mean, or she's an OSI spy who was sent there to watch the monarch or whatever, or she's in she could be part of this other group too, that you don't find out until later. So there's many possibilities. The funny part is the way they left it, that they have this big secret and you don't find out. They do these things. It's funny. I think it's funny. I find a lot of humor in it. I enjoy watching it multiple times. I've watched Venture Brothers so many times. And because I do think that the writing is very good. It brings up these issues. Sometimes it discusses them briefly, and sometimes not as much. But I enjoy writing art of really any kind that brings up issues, that bring these thoughts and ideas and discussions up for us to have. That's what good writing and good art should do. So the season 2 of Venture Brothers, fantastic, and fantastic writing, and really harsh review, I know. Well, thank you very much for watching and getting through this whole 13-minute plus video. Hope to see you again with season 3 of Venture Brothers. Thank you.